I love Invincible Season 3, and I'm not shy of saying it. I also love the final episode, despite what IGN are going to say about it. I don't care about those guys, though, and I'm not going to talk about them any further. And I'm not going to talk about the fact that Mark and Conquest were literally forming powerplexes. What I would rather discuss is Rex's funeral. It's disappointing, and here's why. So we begin with a Robot giving a eulogy and how he's going to take Rex's name instead of Rudy. Now, we all know Robot's a bit of a freak, so this is kind of understandable. Don't get me wrong, I love Robot, right? But this is also true. Robot's lived in his tank all his life, so he's a little bit bizarre. So what he's done is he's taken Rex's DNA, Rex's identity, and now Rex's name. And Monster Girl looks at him lovingly, like this is a good thing. That's a little bit bizarre. Then we have Ray off in the distance, no one comforting her, no nothing while she's having a full on breakdown. Then we have Adam Eve getting up, saying a couple of sentences about Rex, negative ones about how turbulent their relationship used to be. Then she breaks down crying and runs away. Understandable, Rex was a big part of her life, right? But we needed a big send off from him, so cometh the time, cometh the man, up walks Black Samson. In my head, I thought, right, here we go. The guy that all he's done is give fucking motivational speeches and get his head kicked in. This guy who's not had a moment all season, and he had his moment in season 2 taken from him where he turns into like some kind of lightning god and smashes Omnipotus into the next dimension. Now that was taken from him, and all you've been seeing from this guy is getting his head kicked in, and that's it. Usually off screen. Anyway, at this point I thought, right, Samson's going to be the man. He's going to come out and he's going to give a really mature, really good speech about Rex. And, well, didn't happen. It upset me because this had all the makings of a really good speech. And it started with Samson talking about their turbulent relationship. Now, I thought this was really going to develop into him talking about how Rex ended up becoming a hero that was willing to lay down his life for his friends. But it just cut to Mark and Eve, and Mark being happy and smiling that Eve was still alive. Yeah, absolutely, I feel you. But bear in mind, your best friend has just died, and this is the send off for him. You're not even in the main crowd. Like, surely Mark would have something to say too, or at least pretend to listen to what Samson's saying. I get it. I also do live on planet Earth, and I understand that the animation budget was well and truly blown with the Invincible War, the fight with Conquest, and everything else that's been going down. So they probably didn't have a lot for what's going on. Anyway, here's an idea. What if during Samson's speech, while he's talking about all everything that happened with Rex and how much Rex had developed, how about we have some scenes where Rex was off fighting Lizard League, Flaxens, the Octopus, etc., and you have Black Samson talking over it.
I can just feel the savings.
I was going to do a Black Samson voice all the way through this, but my wife was looking at me like I was completely insane, so that won't be happening. Instead, I'll just use my own voice with my best attempt at Samson's eulogy with a few clips of Rex. So, without further ado, me and Rex had a turbulent relationship, especially in the beginning. I saw Rex as a cocky young man, more like a child, and he saw me as a boring old man stuck in his ways with an altruistic god complex. The worst part is we were both right. But I was never more wrong about Rex. Rex turned out to be one of the bravest human beings I think this planet has ever seen. Rex had a rough childhood, and the more I got to know about him, the more I kind of made sense of him. But there's one thing that I couldn't ever deny is that Rex was brave, and the loyalty and sacrifice for his friends would always outweigh his fear and anything personal for himself. The first time me and Rex fought together, we took down the Lizard League, and I was annoyed with how everything had happened, and that's when we had our first blowout. Later, We took down Machine Head and his goons. After I was gravely injured, Rex led the team, and we ended up winning the day. When Omni-Man attacked Chicago, we had a tough mission of helping civilians. It was hard going, but we got the job done. And there was a stain inside Guardians headquarters. Blood left by Omni-Man of the previous Guardians. Cecil left it there as a reminder so we wouldn't get ahead of ourselves. Rex was the first one to volunteer to clean it off. And finally we were starting to look like a team. Later, most of the group had to travel to Mars to deal with the Sequid invasion. Rex, Ray, and Duplicate were left behind on Earth. But little did we know that there was a bigger threat coming in. A threat from the Lizard League. The Lizard League were threatening to destroy the world with nuclear bombs. Rex was the last survivor in the group, taking down 3 of them by himself. And this cost Rex his hand, and he even took a bullet in the head. But this didn't stop Rex. He was able to stand, and he was able to fight, even after taking a shot. Later, when Rex recovered, he immediately got back to the job, taking down Octopus with a little help from Invincible. After that, Rex was immediately back into missions again. Finally, during the Invincible War, Rex gave the ultimate sacrifice for his friends, fighting an alternate version of his best friend. Rex knew 100% that he wasn't going to survive this, but he did it anyway. And that's the kind of man that Rex was. He would never back down from a fight, even if he knew there was no chance that he was going to win. Rex was also the best human being I knew. He had the worst start of probably any of us. And he proved that you can still be the best human being. Your past does not define you. Rex is my friend. And Rex is my hero. Thank you for listening. Right, did I make a good point yet?
No, not yet.
I'd also want to bring up that when Cecil tried to contain Mark using the Reanimen, that Rex was the first to volunteer to help his friend. I know for a fact Samson wouldn't bring this part up because Cecil is stood right in the crowd. And this is probably a bone of contention between Mark and Cecil still. I mean, if your friend tried to kill you with cyborgs and had something implanted in your head, I'm sure you wouldn't feel too favourable about him. So, obvious why this part would have been missed out if that speech happened, but I think Black Samson would have been smart enough not to say anything on that. All this being said, I'm loving what Invincible's doing. It seems to be getting better and better by the season. It was just this one small thing that kind of was a bit bizarre to me because everything else in the season has been absolutely amazing. Even the episode with Titan and Mr. Lou that people are claiming that is filler content, I would immensely disagree. I loved that episode, and it set up a lot of things moving forwards. I also want to say that Invincible fans aren't toxic. It's a massive IP now. It's based on a comic book series and everything else, and granted, people are going to have opinions. If you're going to get up in a stink about it and start screaming at people and insulting them, then yeah, you're probably a bit toxic. But if you just say, I don't like X because of this reason, I think that's totally fine. What a coincidence that it is that I'm doing exactly that. Right, that's all I got to say on Rex's funeral. I didn't hate this episode at all. I thought it was brilliant. I love what they've done with Conquest and making him a mega psycho. Anyway, I'm not planning on making my channel fully Invincible centric. The whole idea was to just make funny little reviews here and there and add my own spin on them and potentially look at ways that if the writing was changed, how could the story go down? So I'll be making another video on Invincible Season 3, mainly about the morality and how all the characters have been shaping Mark all the way through and how his views are being challenged by a lot of the people there. And I'm going to be honest, it's a bit of a trek. This is going to be like a Mauler level video with the amount of editing and talking I'm going to have to do through it. But either way, I'm still excited. I'm still loving life doing this, even with the 200 views. I was actually over the moon for that for my last video when I seen it. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And yeah, just looking good moving forward. So if you want to comment, you know what I mean. I'm not going to bite your head off. If you're going to tell me you like the video, I appreciate it. If you're going to tell me you hated the video, I also appreciate it. I mean, I'm new to this editing business, and I understand that you're probably going to have a time understanding my voice, but hey ho, I'm loving it at the minute. Yeah, send it, boys.